So I'm Ryan Hollenbeck, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Global Marketing at Verint. I'm also the executive sponsor for the Customer Experience Program and been around customer experience now for 4 or 5 years. Thanks very much to Nancy Porte, who's our Vice President of Customer Experience at Verint.
And I came to customer experience kind of a roundabout way, but I had an operations background in customer service, but I always knew that there were a better way to handle issues than to fix them. I always thought maybe we could fix them before they happened. So started looking at how we could do voice of the customer in the company that I was at, and then we were acquired actually by Verint, and I had the opportunity to do customer experience full time.
Yeah, it's been an amazing journey for us together, I think, as it relates to the customer experience, both in terms of the heritage Verint company, but then also our acquired companies as they come in, equally important. For us as a main driver, we really wanted to first and foremost assign someone who was dedicated to the function, and that was me in the form of an executive sponsor, and obviously Nancy in the form of a dedicated Vice President of Customer Experience to help really rally the troops. And one of the very first things that we did is get the executive team together and have dedicated and very specific conversations about what they thought about the Verint customer experience, and starting to use that as an initial benchmark, and we took it from there.
We did, and within Verint there is dedication to the customer. What we really didn't have, though, was a way to monitor when we were improving and looking at how we align all of our customer-centric people internally, and that's really served us well.
So first of all, it's been a great conference so far, and one of the things I've loved about it the most is getting a chance to see a lot of our customers here. I was expecting we'd see some, but there's a lot of them that are here, which has been really great, listening to them present their own customer experience stories. And I think one of the big takeaways for me personally is understanding what kind of journey they're on and getting a chance to hear it from them firsthand, and how we're playing a role in that.
Yeah, I loved hearing the challenges that people are facing every single day, and the forums have been so transparent, honest, open, that people are talking about what are the obstacles, how did I get over those obstacles, and so there's a lot of sharing going on, so that's been great.
You know, I think if you're just starting out, then get an executive sponsor and really think about what you want to try to communicate, and realize that it's not always going to be rosy. And we heard this term at the conference here thrown around, pixie dust, and that's not really what it's about. It's really about hard metrics, real data, and genuine operational improvement.
And it's about being persistent. It's a new function. Some part of the job is getting an understanding of the organization, what you're doing, but then it's persistence in the face of change. You're asking an organization to change. That's not, and all the different pieces, and that's not always easy. So very persistent, and learn how to influence. So much of the job is around influencing and collaboration. But my mantra is you can't collaborate until you've already done some of that influence. So learn how to influence, and it's much easier. Be persistent. That's good.
In terms of driving value and insight-driven, decisions at Verint, I mean, it's a big part of kind of our mantra anyway, because we're the actionable intelligence company. But I think a lot of it for us is really establishing, after those initial executive meetings, a dashboard that we can work from each and every day. And we have sort of our top 10 metrics. We review them with our executive steering committee every quarter. And there's one sort of common theme that's come out that really affects everything when it relates to our customers, and that is ease of doing business.
Mm-hmm. And we've had a big improvement in ease of doing business, because that is how we approach many of our projects. It's how we talk with the executives about the improvements that are needed in the organization. So I think we've driven these insights through the focus of the top 10 list, through the focus of the top drivers, their customer expectations. They're not rules that we've set about how we want to do things. gone to the customer and we've asked them what they want with each interaction, and we've brought that back to the organization. So we really have done a lot in working in every corner of the organization on understanding those expectations.
I think the only thing I would add to that is that what that means in terms of the operational dashboard is very specific things for each functional area, like product stability, for customer service, customer support, what we do with legal and contracting, our sellers, just across the board having individual performance metrics for each and tracking our progress.
We measure a lot of metrics, first of all, but there are some more important than others, and for us it's ease of doing business. We want to be, that's part of our differentiators, we want to be easy to do business with. And that's where we've seen, because of the focus we've had on it, we've seen a big improvement there. Just over the past year, on the quantitative side, we've improved by 9 points, which is a very nice trend for us. But we've seen it on the qualitative side too.
Yeah, we have. I mean, business drivers is a really important one here. Understanding the business drivers for our customers right from the beginning. And if we understand what they're really trying to accomplish, we're always more successful in the long run. But that's something we can, in fact, measure. It's not just something that we start to know qualitatively by talking to customers at our big Engage events that we do all over the world each year, where we get a chance to interact with thousands of customers, but also it's actually measuring it in a very specific way, not just in terms of how our sellers interact, but just really understanding those business requirements is really important. Yeah, so I mean, I think in terms of more customer focus within the organization, we had a big mantra that we unveiled called Developing Customers for Life. And we really put some teeth behind it by creating what we call a guiding principle. And as we've discussed here, ease of doing business was really fundamental to that. And it was really a rallying cry for everybody to figure out, when we talk about a customer experience program and we have somebody like a Nancy Porte on our staff who's an expert practitioner, what does that really mean in terms of how we're going to rally the organization to the customer's benefit? And for me, as one of the executive sponsors, it meant bringing the voice of the customer, into the boardroom, into our executive meetings, and having this rallying cry, if you will, of developing customers for life.
And what we saw that we were really delighted by, because we were working on a communication plan and how do we take Developing Customers for Life and really make it an organization-wide program, which we did. But even before we got to that point, we saw some of our sales team using Customers for Life in their presentations, saying this is how we deal with customers, this is how important the customer is to us. And they did that on their own. We started seeing our services teams talking about how do we incorporate Customers for Life in the projects that we do, how do we make it easier for customers. So we really saw the organization embracing it almost faster than we could get to them and talk about it. So we really have seen that organizational shift.
We have, and one of those things, to be a little more specific, is the organizational workshops that we've done. We call them Customers for Life workshops, and we've done 7 different functional areas of the business: customer support, engineering, services, marketing, sales, and so on. And we're going to keep going with those, and because what happens during that is you actually get down to a very specific behavior level. What can I do in my part of the organization to be developing customers for life?
Yeah. And we're now aligning all of our reward systems, hiring practices, and performance management systems too around those very specific behaviors that build customer loyalty.
The only thing I would add is it's just so refreshing, really. It's cool to see so much focus on the customer experience and to have a whole conference dedicated to it. It's obviously great work already being done by the CXPA, but having a dedicated conference like this, I think speaks volumes to where the profession is going.
Yeah. And we did see that in a lot of the presentations too. Like the conversation used to be how to get an executive sponsor, and now we've progressed through all these discussions. The discussions here have really been around how do I use AI? How am I getting the entire organization mobilized? Executive engagement, but it has now turned into all employee engagement. So you can see that we've matured as an organization or as a profession. Just by